A huge collection of human beings, inspired and defiant Aggies, as we say welcome to ESPN College Football Finale from Kyle Field in College Station, Texas, in this presentation of the SEC on ESPN. Never had more humans together in one place for a football game in the long history of the Lone Star State. Perhaps 107,000 for the Aggies. First big home game of the season and first home game period in a month. Off an embarrassing loss, they need to bounce back immediately against this group from Ole Miss, riding a high, euphoric after knocking off Alabama at home, highest ranking in a half century, 5-0 for the first time since 1962. But slight underdogs tonight in this hostile environment. Mississippi State, off a big win over Auburn at home, sits atop the SEC West at 3-0. The Rebels can join their rivals with a win tonight. Auburn falling to 2-1. The Aggies can ill afford a second conference loss. Bama and Arkansas battling as we speak, a 1-point tied lead in Fayetteville. In short, just another electric day and night in the SEC West. And welcome to a record crowd in Kyle Field. Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. This should be a lot of fun. We were in Oxford for game day a week ago. The Rebels had a tremendous high. They say they've come back down, Kirk. Their chances again here hinging on a great defense, known as the Land Sharks.
Well, after having a victory like they did, maybe the best in school history, getting a big game where you're questioned again, I think is exactly what they need. And it starts with their defense. As you said, the defense has been outstanding, leading Hugh Freeze's bunch. Look at the numbers. They've been great. It's a veteran bunch. Dave Womack's their defensive coordinator. Has done a great job of really being multiple, changing up the looks. And that's what they're going to do tonight to Kenny Hill. Try to confuse him and try to get him to be able to create some turnovers.
Kenny Hill, number 7, leading the Aggies on the field, facing a defense that's allowed only 3 touchdowns all season. This offense, Kirk, that's scoring 48 a game, but they struggled amidst the noise in Starkville. Kenny Hill wasn't his usual accurate self, and the receivers were dropping balls left and right, 11 of them.
Well, based on what we've seen so far in his brief career, it's the first time we really saw Kenny Hill uncomfortable. He looked like he was pressing. At times, he looked like he was hurrying last week against Mississippi State. His numbers this year in replacing Johnny Manziel, the pressure of trying to deal with that are outstanding. He exploded onto the scene. Remember the opening night on Thursday night in Columbia against South Carolina and Steve Spurrier, and he's been great all year until last week. The game kind of got away from them. They became very predictable with their play calling. Tonight, look for the Aggies to run the ball more to take some of the pressure off of Kenny Hill, so they're looking for more of a balanced attack against this Ole Miss defense.
Heather Cox on the field with Coach Hugh Freeze.
Chris, thank you so much. Coach, tonight a hostile environment, playing in front of nearly 107,000 people. What kind of challenge does this atmosphere present?
Well, I think they hear us talking about it. They're pretty loud right now. It certainly is a challenge. We haven't been in this type of atmosphere yet this year. But, you know, Bo's been in it before, so offensively that should help us. But we certainly have got to manage it and hopefully do something good early to take them out of it.
And, Coach, how do you carry the momentum from last week's win against Alabama into tonight and avoid that letdown?
Yeah, it won't be a letdown. I mean, if we get beat, it's because A&M, you know, they're a good team. Playing in this conference is good. But, you know what, I like what's going on with our team. There's something special, not just on the field, but off the field going on. And, you know what, I wouldn't have her be with any other group tonight than that group. I'm glad I'm with them.
Coach, enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chris?
Heather, thank you. Freeze has had a smile on his face all week long. He is ready, he thinks, for this serious challenge. They'll get the ball first. They won the toss. They'll receive. Taylor Bertolette to kick it off for the Aggies with a breeze at his back.
Interesting, Ole Miss and Hugh Freeze winning the toss on the road and electing to take the football here to start this football game.
And the crowd has never been bigger or louder than right now. At the goal line, it's Jalen Walton, the hero of the Alabama game. And the return man has a crease. Brought down at the 40-yard line. And the Rebels offense will have good field position. Bo Wallace, heroic, carried off the field after a couple of late touchdown passes last week to beat Bama.
Bo, as we all heard last week, had a lot of pressure on him and really stepped up in a big way. Played, I thought, with outstanding poise throughout the entire game, Chris, especially in that fourth quarter when Ole Miss needed the big plays and needed to kind of have opportunities to make plays against that Bama defense. He delivered. Let's see how he does here early on the road.
Consistency, game in, game out, has not always been a hallmark in the career of Wallace. He's had an interesting journey that we'll detail. Communication will be an issue for this offense. They hand it off, and this is Jalen Walton running left, and a nice gain into Aggie territory in the first play for Ole Miss.
Ole Miss wants to run the football. They want to take the pressure, much like A&M wants to do on Kenny Hill. They need to run the ball to set up their play-action pass. You'll see them run in the middle, but they love the perimeter running game with the backs and with receivers.
And just like the Aggies, they will play at a high tempo. Wallace keeps it and dives down for no gain. Julian Obioha got him. We may see some more quarterback runs tonight. Not usually a big part of the repertoire.
No, but last week he had 11 carries against Alabama, and I think Hugh Freeze understands that when a team decides to play and they're going to stop the passing game, then they've got to run the ball, not just with Mathers and Walton, but Bo Wallace has to be included to give them numbers to their advantage in that box area at the line of scrimmage.
When they hand it off, inside again, and the Aggie run defense rises up at the 45. It'll set up 3rd and long.
Mark Snyder told us that he's trying to defend this offense with 3 down linemen. He feels that he can get physical with the 3 down linemen and win that battle, that he can take away and negate the inside running game, and it allows him to stay safe with 2 safeties deep against the pass game.
They're converting 3rd downs at 51%. That's excellent. But again, this is the first time in a hostile stadium. Big Jeremy Liggins, the 300-pounder, is in the backfield as a blocker. Wallace spinning away. Can that escape? Myles Garrett, the true freshman pass rush specialist, got him.
This guy has just, to me, in the first month and a half, you always want to talk about offensive players. Myles Garrett is a true freshman. He's on the defense's right side, the offense's left side, and he's split Aaron Morris, the left guard, and Laramie Tunsil, the left tackle, who's one of the best in the country, with determination and speed there on 3rd down.
Will Gleason, the Aussie lefty, is in the punt. It's a low kick, bouncing. And this is why teams rarely return punts against Ole Miss. Rolls dead inside the 15-yard line, so not good field position for Kenny Hill, the sophomore from Southlake, Texas, the fine high school program, looking for a bounce-back performance tonight.
Remember last week in the opening drive against Mississippi State, things looked great. They went right down the field, 6 plays, touchdown, and it looked like, okay, another night for Kenny Hill in this offense. And after that, the game got away from them a bit, and they lost their rhythm. Tonight, they're going to try to reestablish that rhythm again with the running game and to get Kenny Hill with the opportunity to throw the football to these receivers in some one-on-one coverage.
It's Brandon Williams in the pistol formation behind Hill, and he's got it. Ole Miss, a very speedy defense made up of some scrappy guys. Not all of them are 4- and 5-star prospects.
Not at all, but they are experienced. They really know what they're doing. Dave Womack, the defensive coordinator, has a good feel for what their strengths and weaknesses are, and he puts them in a position to have success. Remember, they're playing this first half without Trey Elston, number 7, their starting safety, and a veteran.
He was suspended by Freeze for the first half. He'll be back after halftime. Hill, first throw of the night, delivers in traffic, and it's a throw short of the first down to the tight end Cameron Clear, the senior. It'll set up 3rd and short.
This A&M offense is moving a lot of their personnel around. They want to run the ball. You're going to see Speedy Noyle tonight involved in a lot of different areas in this package too.
They need about 1.5 yards. And it's Williams behind Hill. Quarterback keeper, he's dropped for a loss. Ole Miss flying through is Byron Bennett, the senior nose tackle. So each defense off to a great start.
Yeah, they slanted and angled that way. And what I thought was interesting is Texas A&M saw it because of the dummy count, but Ole Miss is just slanting towards the boundary into the line of scrimmage. Really a tough block for Jarvis Harrison and Mike Matthews up front because of Ole Miss attacking towards the boundary. Great call by the coordinator.
Drew Kaiser is the excellent punter for the Aggies, and a fair catch made by the true freshman Marcel Pack for the Rebels at the 31-yard line. So these two high-powered offenses, but so far it's the defenses rising up to force punts. It's a rainy morning giving way to a pleasant evening here in College Station. Temperatures in the high 60s for this SEC West showdown. Second possession for Ole Miss, 3 runs and a sack the first time Bo Wallace and company had the ball. It's a reverse. They flip it around, and this is Cody Core, the slot receiver, who gets a first down. So again, a successful running play. We'll see lots of this kind of stuff, I think, from Ole Miss tonight, Kirk.
And it's a really good call by Hugh Freeze, because you're on the road, the crowd's into it, it's a defense, it's fast flowing, it's a great look at it right there. So what do you do to try to slow them down? Counters, misdirection, and reverses going back the other way. And a pretty good open field tackle there by Everett.
Core is a 6'3" slot receiver from Auburn, Alabama. Atavius Mathers is now the back. All the Ole Miss backs are from the state of Tennessee, and they'll rotate frequently. But it's Wallace, first throw of the night, delivers far side, and the receiver was running down the field. Miscommunication with Laquan Treadwell. Everett on the cover.
When they leave Laquan Treadwell into the boundary by himself with one defensive back, Bo Garrett has the freedom and the flexibility to go to Treadwell. They're as confident in him as any receiver they have, and they feel that when he's isolated one-on-one, no matter who it is in the entire SEC, Bo Wallace has Hugh Freeze's freedom to say, hey, go after that throw.
There's a second down throw in the backfield. Treadwell, the strong receiver in the Chicago area, muscling into Aggie territory. Not the fastest guy, but he's got huge hands, and he's very, very powerful.
And again, that's why Bo Wallace wants to be able to make that throw. What's impressive about Treadwell is his instincts as a wide receiver. He's got the size at about 230 pounds. How about the effort by Tunsil, the left tackle, the tight end Ingram, some great blocks downfield, but also a feel there, and they got away with a face mask.
Yeah, they sure did. As it is first down, Wallace on play action takes a shot over the middle, has a man wide open. Adebayo down inside the 5-yard line. First and goal for Ole Miss.
And they run the football, and they'll come back and give you the same action with their play action look.
Rebels are playing very fast. Mathers to the right of Wallace. Quarterback keeper on the edge, diving for the end zone just like that. Ole Miss strikes first.
What a drive by Ole Miss on their second series here in Kyle Field. There's no hangover at all after that victory last week. Ole Miss is here to play football. They got A&M's defense on its heels, and right after the big play, they come right back where Bo Wallace keeps the ball, and he extends across that goal line. They may take a peek at that, but to me, I think before his knee touched, the ball had broken the plane.
Hugh Freeze making a change at kicker. The true freshman from Memphis, Gary Wunderlich, who made the 46-yarder against Alabama, replacing Andrew Fletcher, who didn't make the trip. So Wallace firing. Little trickery from Freeze's offense, and it's the Rebels on the road up by a touchdown. 5-play, 69-yard touchdown drive in 1:25. Wunderlich booting into the wind, and a chance for Speedy Noyle, the true freshman returner. Hit hard across the 25-yard line, and the second possession for the Aggies, who are not used to being behind early. It's Williams in the pistol, and he's got it running left. Rebels defense gets there in a hurry, don't they?
Well, they do, and I think it's because 9 of these guys started last year, and one of the guys, Mike Hilton, number 28, who's a corner starting normally in this defense, has moved to the rover spot for Elston in this first half. He's kind of really a great example of how these guys move around and can play a lot of different positions.
On second and 15, 3 receivers to the left. This is Noyle coming back on a screen, hammered hard to the ground. A short gain. Kimdichie, the defensive tackle, planting the receiver in the turf.
And Kimdichie is 295 pounds and a defensive tackle, and there he looked like a linebacker. Watch him in the middle, and then watch him come off of the football and come from the inside out. I mean, he's 295 pounds, but he runs like he's 240 pounds.
It's a strong man. 3rd and 12. They flip it short. Catch made by Williams. He cannot get free. And the Aggies, short of a first down, will send out the punt team. And 107,000, largest crowd in the history of the state of Texas. They watch the Rebels come on the road and score an early touchdown to lead 7-0. A&M's second possession ending in a punt, which will be down at the 1-yard line. This huge crowd up, waving the towels, trying to make it tough on that Rebels offense. A short handoff to Jalen Walton, the man who caught the game-winning touchdown pass in the final couple minutes against Alabama. He's got a first down.
And Sean Washington, the linebacker, who's a backup, but because of his athletic ability, they give him more and more of an opportunity to play. He just busted his assignment. He blew the gap, and that's how small a thing it could be for a linebacker. You shoot into the wrong gap, and all of a sudden there's a big crease, and it's a first down.
Sign of confidence for Freeze. They won the toss. In all this noise, this hostile environment, first time in a true road game all year, says, we'll take the ball. He believes in his quarterback and his offense. Play action. Wallace steps up, fires across the middle, has a man wide open. The catch is made by Evan Ingram, kind of the H-back, who's a tough matchup for defenses.
He is, Chris. They flexed him out last week against Alabama. How about the protection for Bo Wallace? A little kind of a flash of a ball fake. The linebackers get lost in coverage. They're looking into the eyes of the quarterback, and they're not keeping their head on a swivel, looking for the crossing route that might be coming in from behind them.
Wallace 3 for 4 for 70 yards so far. Very quickly moving 29 yards after the 30-yard line. This is Walton. Makes a man miss on the corner, and a nice first down gain. The Rebels are running well wide early.
They're getting to the outside, and the reason that's so important is not just to pick up yards, but it sets up everything for Bo Wallace, because it's getting the attention of the defense, of the linebackers and the secondary. And when they start to have success 7 and 8 yards running the ball wide, they're going to go right back to a very similar look where Bo Wallace will pull it out, and he's going to look for receivers behind.
Cross sweep on 2nd and short. And this little guy, Jalen Walton, 5'8", $166, squirts free for a first down.
I'll tell you, when you play Ole Miss, you better strap on your chin strap and be able to match their determination and attitude. Great blocks on the outside. He's following the big left tackle, Tunsil, who he's kind of pushing in the back to try to get yards, but he's breaking arm tackles too. That was an area that hurt Texas A&M last week when they went to Starkville, as they had a lot of missed tackles.
The first down throw from Wallace, far side, complete. And this is the strong receiver, Laquan Treadwell. 27 catches so far this season. They get 11 more.
And they're picking on the defense's right side, the offense's left side, getting the ball out there. It's about the 3rd time we've seen Treadwell get the ball into his hands, and great blocking downfield by other receivers, linemen hustling 10 and 15 yards downfield. This is an offense was backed up just a few plays ago inside their own 1-yard line, and now you blink your eye and they're in A&M territory.
Kirk, they've run 14 plays. Half of them, 7, have gone for 10+ yards. Another throw far side. When they see single coverage, they want to get the ball out quickly to Treadwell. He is so physical, so strong.
Yeah, as soon as they see it, they're going to try to get to him. And, you know, even this time with the safety hanging around behind the corner, Everett, they still go, it's an easy throw with soft coverage. Why not just take 5 yards the easy way? Snap, throw to Treadwell, 5 yards. Instead of having to always run for it, it's pitch and catch for Bo Wallace, throwing it out there to Treadwell.
And a milestone for the sophomore, already his 100th career catch. Mathers in the backfield on 2nd and 5. Wallace with a keeper. Has a little crease, and Bo Wallace spinning inside the 30. Early on, we're seeing quarterback runs play a part.
We sure are, Chris. And what we're also seeing is When Bo Wallace runs the football, it gives the defense nightmares because they have to add an extra defender down. This time, Justin Bell, the right guard, the big fella, led his way around, picks up a nice block right there on the linebacker, Washington, and it frees up Bo Wallace, who does a good job getting into traffic, and immediately 2 hands on the football.
How about old number 68, 352-pound guard with some good feet.
Big fella's taking a breather.
Well, that's why he's tired. He was so quick downfield. On first down, Wallace fires across the middle, has a man wide open, first and goal. Cody Core out of the slot down to the 10-yard line.
Again, they run the football, and then they come back with play action. They're going to now go hurry up. Very similar to their last touchdown drive where they get a big pass play. They come right back with a quick play. 9th play of this drive, first and goal. Wallace again, the keeper, just like the first touchdown run. The Rebels, 99 yards in Kyle Field to go up 2 touchdowns. Two very similar touchdown runs, Kirk. Very similar to the last drive as they hit a big pass play. They went right to the line. Bo Wallace, same action, zone read, decided to be able to pull that football, and shows you that he's got enough speed to be able to get to the corner and into the end zone, and once again picked up a nice block from Evan Ingram. This is Wonderlick, who banks the extra point off the upright. The freshman kicker stepping in as the starter tonight, a little bit lucky. 9 plays, 99 yards, and Bo Wallace with a pair of touchdown runs. The Rebels are rolling right now in College Station. Some of the Ole Miss faithful have made the trip to brave this hostile environment. This is a crowd that was electric about 15 minutes ago, but now the Aggies are down a couple of touchdowns. They got a sack of Wallace to stop the Rebels on their first possession, but since then 2 exquisite touchdown drives by the Ole Miss offense. Bo Wallace 4 for 4 on that last drive, throwing in 2 carries for 22 yards and a touchdown. Wonderlick with a short kick, and it's Speedy Noyle at the 5. Straight ahead, but hit hard by the Ole Miss coverage team. Marquise Haynes made the tackle. And Kenny Hill and the Aggies back to work in a deep hole on their home field right now. Dick Spavital, their offensive coordinator. He's trying to rally the troops after last week. They wanted to get off to a good start. Now they're down 14 at home. Williams, nowhere to go, and he's cut down. Flying in there was Hilton, the corner. Oh boy, Mike Hilton right now, he's a corner who, Chris, as you talked about, you and I both, Trey Elson out the first half, so he has to play Rover. How's this for playing Rover? You want to move me over to Rover? I have no problem coming up and run support. In fact, he leads Ole Miss in tackles. Dave Womack says he's played everywhere. He's played our Husky, which is our nickelback. He's played corner. He's played safety. If they have a problem, they move him around. At 5'9", 182, he is not afraid to come up there and aggressively support in the run. 2 very impressive first quarter touchdown drives by Bo Wallace and the Rebels. End of the first quarter in Kyle Field, 14-0 Rebels. There's Malcolm Kennedy. He's the leader, the leading receiver on this team. Once again, with a shoulder injury, Kirk, not able to go so far tonight. Yeah, and they missed him last week against Mississippi State. Without him, the young core was a little bit rattled and lost on the road. Hill chased, escapes, and now flips it across the middle. Speedy Noyle makes the catch at the 45, near the marker. Marquise Haynes, the true freshman, was chasing the quarterback, but he shows his elusiveness. And that's a great job by Kenny Hill, being able to keep this play alive, and again keeping his eyes downfield. But how about the true freshman Speedy Noyle, doing a good job of working and finding that open space, just enough space there on the sideline to pick up some yards to set up a very makeable 3rd and 1. Brandon Williams in the pistol. Need about a foot to get a first down. It's already the 5th 3rd down play for A&M tonight. Williams takes the handoff, hammer straight ahead. A short game, but it will move the sticks. They get the first down, and a lot of it had to do with Kenny Hill gripping that football, but Speedy Noyle calling for the ball. working up against that veteran Ole Miss secondary, and that's a great job by the true freshman to connect eyes with the young quarterback.
Nice fingertips catch. Hill, a first down throw near side, and the catch is made by Cameron Clear, the tight end, who's fighting through a high ankle sprain, finally healthy. They expect to involve him a lot tonight if they can.
They want to. They want to be able to, again, run the football and get this big fella, Cameron Clear, at 6'6", 277 pounds. Try to get him involved in the running game where he can be a great dominating blocker, but also, as you see, makes a tough matchup for linebackers and safeties.
And up inside, Trey Williams moves the sticks. That first quarter, Kirk, just the second quarter all season in which the Aggies failed to score. They've been 23 out of 24 coming into this game.
And I think Kevin Sumlin would tell you that he's been very proud of the effort of this offense. A lot of new faces, especially at quarterback. But they've been able to get into that rhythm that this offense typically has. But the Arkansas game, they had some struggles last week. And then, of course, here in this first quarter tonight.
Trey Carson running left, strung out, and dropped right at the line of scrimmage. Meanwhile, Ole Miss, a very fast starting team. 55-3 is their first quarter edge all season long.
Well, they've only allowed 3 touchdown drives the entire season as a defense. Again, that's 66 drives they've faced, and they've allowed 3 touchdown drives. So it's the veteran understanding. It allows him to play fast, understanding the scheme of Dave Womack.
2nd and 10. Hill fires far side, and the catch is made by Edward Pope, one of the tall receivers, a 6'4" sophomore. Again, a very short gain, not many yards after the catch so far tonight.
And that's a linebacker out in space making a play. Sedarius Bryant, I mean, 14. He's 5'9", 220 pounds, and he's out there in space making plays against wide receivers.
Hill's had 9 completions. He's 9 for 9, but only 43 yards. Hill in the pocket. Overthrown and intercepted. Intercepted by Cody Pruitt, the senior leader of the secondary, weaving through the Aggies. Inside the 20-10, touchdown Ole Miss, 75 yards. Wow. Robert Kimdichie pressured Hill late, and Cody Pruitt there to make the easy pick and the dazzling return.
Boy, he just kind of sits there as a robber and does a good job of reading the quarterback's eyes. Look who got pressure there late. The sophomore Kimdichie gets to him and gets the pressure, which forced the throw there a little bit prematurely from Kenny Hill. He threw the ball and it sailed on him right over the top of his receiver, and Pruitt was there waiting on it.
And Taylor Bertolette, or excuse me, Gary Wunderlich, the freshman, and they got the land shark symbol going here. The defense pitching a shutout and finding the end zone, 21-0.
Chris, this pass was intended for Edward Pope up at the top. He's going to run a route right here and work his way. Pruitt's just sitting right here as a safety, and he's reading the routes. What he does is he reads this. He's going to find that this receiver's going deep, and he's sitting right here. Here comes a crossing route. Now watch how he passes off that route to another safety, which frees him up to just read the quarterback's eyes, and he's in perfect position there to come up with that interception.
The 11th interception of the season for the Rebels, 11th of Cody Pruitt's career. Noyle, the Aggies find themselves in a 3-touchdown hole early second quarter in a stunned Kyle Field. Among the impressive things about this first half of the Rebels, no penalties, no turnovers. They've been excellent on special teams. You can check every box. A road team in this environment, it's an almost perfect first half.
Yeah, that's what we were saying at a break. When you go on the road in this conference, you think about, hey, we've got to be able to win turnovers. We've got to be mistake-free, avoid the penalties, and we got to be able to maybe score on special teams or on defense, and they've been able to do that. But if I'm Texas A&M, you go back to the drawing board. It's not just his first half. It's last week that's on your mind. The last 6 quarters have not been great.
Hill throws behind the receiver, but the catch is made. First down for Ricky Seals-Jones, 16 seconds to go. The Aggies have 2 timeouts, but a long way to go to get in field goal range into the wind. Hill fires again. Catch made again by Josh Reynolds to the 40. 6 seconds to go. Pruitt on the tackle. Can't carry over the timeouts into the second half. Spend one right here.
And Pruitt coming up there to be able to support that play, and came up a little bit little bit slow and kind of favoring his right shoulder. They may check him out of the lineup right now. It looks like C.J. Hampton may be coming in. That could be a stinger there on his right side.
Kenny Hill has been sharp in terms of his completion percentage, 17 of 20, but only 130 yards and not many yards after the catch. Final play of the half, they try lateral. Ricky Seals-Jones throws it back, and that did not work. So a first half of dominance by Bo Wallace and the Rebels. 2 long touchdown drives and a 75-yard interception return for a touchdown by Pruitt. Aggies will get the ball to begin the second half, but they will be 3 touchdowns behind in front of this massive crowd at home. And welcome back to the SEC on ESPN in front of the largest crowd ever to watch a football game in the state of Texas. The 3rd ranked but underdog Ole Miss Rebels in charge as we begin the 3rd quarter. 21-0. An almost spotless performance by Ole Miss in every category, Kurt.
Yeah, there are some questions about how would they respond after such a historic win last week against Alabama. If you've seen any of this first half, you realize that Hugh Freeze got his team ready to go from the outset. Bo Wallace in command, doing a really good job with a balanced attack, running the football and then setting up play action. You can see the play action, how it impacts the safeties and the linebackers, getting them out of position. Just doing a good job of mixing up the different looks with personnel groupings. And I tell you, he's been involved tonight running the football as well. 8 different times we've seen him keep the football. Here after a big pass play, zone read, he pulls it, gets around the corner, picks up a block from Ingram. They've scored a couple offensive touchdowns and had the pick 6.
Northwestern Mutual planning for success, Kirk. What the Aggies will get the ball momentarily here have to do to get back in this thing.
Well, the first one, you heard Kevin Sutherland with Heather Cox accept the challenge. And I'm sure he got after them there at halftime. Find a rhythm offensively, and then on defense, they've got to create some pressure to try to get some turnovers of their own. After all, Ole Miss is the team on the road.
Rebels kickoff. Aggies working with the breeze at their back in this 3rd quarter, but a deep kickoff by Wonderlic, and Texas A&M will take over. To Heather Cox.
Chris, Hugh Freeze was very satisfied. No surprise with the defense, but he said we must make some changes offensively. We've got to do a better job on converting on 3rd down. He said we had 2 run plays where we missed blocks. He also admitted he had a bad 3rd down call, got a little bit greedy. Now, one thing to watch, guys, Trey Elston, after serving the first half suspension, will start the second half at Rover, moving Mike Hilton back to his natural corner position for Ole Miss's defense.
Yeah, thanks, Heather. Elston suspended by Freeze for kicking at Kenyon Drake of Alabama last week. First play of the 3rd quarter. It's a dangerous throw into traffic. Bobbled, but caught by Noyle. Mike Hilton was right there.
How about Mike Hilton? He moves over because Elston is back in, and he goes back to his starting position, which is corner, and Noyle, the true freshman. This ball goes up into the air. Look at all the white jerseys around him. Pretty good concentration before Hilton lowers the boom on him.
On 2nd and 5, Hill throws it. Short catch made. He's getting a first down as Boone Niederhofer.
And I think A&M, throwing underneath, but eventually Kenny Hill's going to have to take some shots. The reason you're not seeing them take shots is look at Ole Miss and the depth of their safeties.
Trey Williams a carry, wrestled out on the far side by Serdarius Bryant. Good first down gain.
And when you have 2 safeties that are back deep, it makes it very, very hard to be able to get the ball thrown downfield. So if you're sitting at home and you're a Texas A&M fan, you're thinking, why aren't we getting the ball back? Look at the safeties and look at the depth of the defensive backs.
3-man rush. Hill has time, delivers into traffic, almost intercepted. Tony Connor, the linebacker, the nickelback, actually dropping into coverage.
Yeah, there's another miscommunication with one of his receivers, Speedy Noyle, who, again, they're moving him this week to different positions. He's playing outside. They've moved him inside. And when you do that with young receivers and you're still dealing with a young quarterback in Kenny Hill, it's easy to have miscommunication between a quarterback and a receiver.
3rd and 10. Hill fires over the middle. Catch made at the 50, but short of first down yardage. It's Ricky Seals-Jones, and let's see what someone does here at midfield.
Right now, he looks like yeah, they're going to go for it. They're bringing in the big tight end, Cameron Clear. This is a big play in this football game at the 50-yard line.
Remember how good the Aggies have been in these situations all season coming into this game, but the Rebels an excellent 3rd and short defense.
I mean, they're struggling to run the football.
Trey Carson in the pistol. Blake Luck inside of 10.
And looking over, they're feeling blitz. See what kind of adjustment they make to this linebacker blitz.
Blake Luck at 1 as they snap it. It's a pitch on the edge. First down converted. Trey Carson to the Ole Miss 45.
A great call, a great adjustment, and how about the block by Cameron Clear? The big tight end does a good job of taking away Denzel Kimdichie right there. Takes him down, and that opened it up just enough room for Trey Carson to pick up that first down. So they bring the big fella in, and it works out for him where he picks up the block.
So first down, throw near side, catch made by Niederhofer, but nothing after the catch. That's what the Rebels have been doing all year to receivers.
That's what they're known for. And again, if you're just tuning in, we're going to continue to talk about it because Ole Miss defense is playing so well. 9 returning starters. They know Dave Womack's system inside and out. It allows them to play at a very fast pace in the way they react.
Hill has time, delivers again high. Catch made at the 40. Fighting for a first down is Speedy Noyle. Again, without Malcolm Kennedy tonight, who continues to have a shoulder injury, this young Aggie receiving corps has been struggling so far. Noyle has stepped up.
He has. Again, they bounced him around that time. Nice pass protection for the quarterback.
Carson hammers ahead to the 30. It's been by their standards tonight, a pretty productive first down run.
Talked about not having Malcolm Kennedy. You have Josh Reynolds, number 11, who's a sophomore. Speedy Noyle is a freshman. Edward Pope, who's a sophomore. Ricky Seals-Jones, who's a redshirt freshman. It's a young group that they're looking to and counting on. And last week on the road, they really struggled. In fact, Kevin Sumlin said he's never been around a group of receivers that struggled that bad.
Slant. Seals-Jones makes the catch. It'll be 3rd and a yard. Trey Elston, again, who came off the suspension to start the 3rd quarter, made the stop.
When we've watched him play well, they get separation. Tonight, it's been tough. Last week, it was tough to get separation from that Mississippi State defense.
Williams in the game on 3rd and a yard. Hill's going to throw it. Near side, has a man. There's a cushion for Edward Pope, who's got a first down into the red zone. So the Aggies' best march of the night.
That's good recognition by Kenny Hill. He had soft coverage against one of his receivers. This time, the receiver and the quarterback, Kenny Hill, on the same page. Good job there by Edward Pope. So much of this A&M offense is route adjustments from the receivers. It's important that the quarterback and the receiver understand what they're both reading and seeing. Rebels showing pressure, Kirk, on this first down play. Hill well protected, fires to the end zone, but over the head. Speedy Noyle never had a chance there. Very well covered by Senquez Golson, who made the game-saving pick against Bama last week. Yeah, that was not a great route by Speedy Noyle. He's got to work more to our left, get to the inside. He just gave it a little bit of a head fake. See how there's no room back to the outside? When you're going to work to kind of have a fade thrown to the corner, you've got to give Kenny Hill a little bit of room to work with. That time he didn't work to the inside at all and left Kenny Hill no room to throw the football. Hill back on 2nd and down. Flushed, runs, 10, gets a block, 1st and goal at the 6. Hill's best run of the night. But they brought a linebacker blitz with number 4, Kimdichie, and he didn't get home. It was a good job by the offensive tackle that time. Abuhi just kind of pushing him along. And once he got to the outside, he breaks contain. He's got enough speed there to make a defense pay for it. All of a sudden, again, here comes A&M. Clearly, this is a big, big drive for them in this game, down 21. 1st and goal. Hill back, well protected, throws into traffic. Niederhofer makes the catch. Hit immediately. They'll spot it up at the 3. Facing a defense that's allowed only 3 touchdowns all season long, only 1 touchdown pass. On Thursday in practice, wow, here they go, quick. Handoff, dancing into the end zone. Touchdown, Aggies finally on the scoreboard. They played in a hurry. The Rebels did not get lined up.
And Kenny Hill and company, a much-needed touchdown.
Boy, that was quick. I didn't go back and look at that. I thought Ole Miss had guys running on the field, running off the field. Good job of going quick and trying to get set by Texas A&M, and some pretty tough running there by Williams.
And Trey Williams, a 3-yard run for number 3. So midway in the third quarter, Aggies within a couple of touchdowns. Lambeau knocks it through. So the Aggies take good field position and march to the end zone. Deficit now 14. They call Reveille, Kirk, the first lady of Aggie land, of course the official mascot. Ryan Kreider, corporal, responsible for taking care of her. She gets to go to class. And look how closely she pays attention to the professor there.
She's listening, front row.
History class, just chilling out over there. A little more excited she should be than she was a few minutes ago.
It's a late kick. It's a late kick for her.
So a methodical 14-play, 58-yard drive. It took 4:17. That's a long time for a Sumlin offense, but playing very fast at the end of the drive and catching the Rebels not lined up. This is Mark Dodson for Ole Miss in the end zone, bringing it out, hammered hard, short of the 20 by that kickoff coverage team. So there's life in Kyle Field now. Wallace from the 19. They hand it off to Walton running left. They've used this play a lot, typically getting a nice first down gain.
Yeah, both the guards pull around the left side. They have done this a lot to that side. They, throughout their film study, Hugh Freeze and his offensive staff have seen something from a personnel matchup that they like, because they continue to go back into the boundary, pulling the guards and running wide.
Empty backfield on 2nd and 8. Throw near side into traffic, incomplete. Almost intercepted. Tommy Sanders, the linebacker, was right there. I don't know if Wallace saw him.
And we just talked about how he's making great decisions. That's like calling it an 8th inning. Boy, this no-hitter looks great, doesn't it? What a no-hitter. All of a sudden, guy gives up a single, bloop over the second baseman. First time tonight, he kind of panicked and forced a throw into coverage, and he was fortunate that A&M did not come up with the interception, because he was sitting right there waiting for the ball. Tommy Sanders,
very athletic linebacker, only comes in on passing situations, and here's one of them on 3rd and 8. Wallace pressured, escapes, weaves, dives, and stretches for a first down just across the 45.
What a job of bouncing back and giving it all, laying it on the line here on 3rd down. After a poor decision, Bo Wallace goes airborne to get that last yard to pick up a first down. Crowds in the game, defense is starting to get confident. They confuse him, and he pulls it down and goes airborne and gets that first down. Without that effort, it's 4th down and a yard.
Usually you only see that at the goal line. You don't really want your quarterback going airborne very often. Mathers hammers straight ahead, about 8. You're right, Kirk. You said it well, giving up your body. He knows how important it is to kind of stem this momentum to keep the ball.
And that's a senior. That's a senior who's tired of hearing about how erratic he can be, and he's trying to be more consistent. Remember that play before, he threw in the coverage, comes right back on that crucial 3rd down and makes a heck of a play.
2nd and short. It's Mathers shifting to the left of the quarterback now. He's got the handoff, bounces it outside. Now cuts back, has a first down to the 43. Down to Heather Cox.
Chris, you guys talking about Bo Wallace and the personality he's showing tonight. Very interesting, him saying this week the value of beating Alabama is not just seen in the standings, it's the mental edge of knowing that we can compete with anyone in the country. And you sense that he's playing with a different level of confidence after that big win last week.
Hey, you're exactly right, Heather. Different level of maturity. He went back to his apartment. He didn't go out and celebrate, go down to the Grove and carry the goalposts around. Went back and chilled.
Like I said, Heather, I agree with you. It wasn't just winning it. It's the way he carried himself throughout that game and postgame.
First down throw, far side. Treadwell trying to work free. Gets inside the 40. Brought down by Ivan Robinson.
And we were at practice on Thursday, and there was just an energy at that Ole Miss practice where you know, we wondered before we got there, are they going to be able to kind of keep their feet on the ground and stay level-headed? And Bo Wallace, through all the ups and downs that he has been through, doing a very good job of leading this team in uncharted territory and playing with a lot of poise and maturity after everything he's been through.
And 2nd and 6, a pump fake by Wallace. Still alive, has some room, keeps it. One final pump fake to freeze the defenders, and he's pushed out at the 33. It'll be very close to a first down.
They were trying to find a matchup here where you think Treadwell at the top right here, but Ingram sets up like he's blocking, and then he goes down the sideline. But give Texas A&M's defense some credit. They didn't buy it. They took it away, took that route away for Bo Wallace. So again, yet again, another opportunity for Wallace to pull it down and try to pick up some yards, which he did.
Jalen Walton hauled down for no gain. 5 times tonight, Wallace has run for a first down.
You know, they were a little bit tentative early, but look how they're getting extra bodies down here. They're just trying to outnumber Ole Miss, who's trying to work a little bit of clock, being a little bit more. The tendency is to run the football here with a 14-point lead in the second half, and A&M taking a few more chances, leaving their corners on islands by doing that, by getting their safeties up into the line of scrimmage.
Empty backfield. We have not seen Wallace take many downfield shots yet tonight, but here's one again. Single coverage, throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Quincy Adebojo. Kirk, you sensed it. There was an opportunity there. They're flying downhill to cover the run, and Wallace takes a shot and hits it.
When you leave your safeties and your corners on an island, that's exactly what's going to happen. You take some chances. The very next thing, the Ole Miss coaches saw the same thing that we saw. It's a mismatch. It's a matchup that they want to try to expose. Burns in coverage. And boy, they find that without safety support behind it, an easy target. And how about our boy Bo Wallace again, stepping up with a nice throw.
First touchdown pass of the night to go with his 2 runs, and the fastest receiver on the Ole Miss roster, the sophomore from Cedar Hill, Texas, Quincy Adebojo, puts the Rebels back up by 3 touchdowns. 9-play, 65-yard touchdown drive for Ole Miss. Took 4 minutes and 4 seconds. Wallace to Adebojo, and the deficit for the Aggies once again is 21 with 13 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. That has quieted Kyle Field considerably. Trey Williams at the 5. Looking back toward the boundary, but again, excellent coverage by that kickoff team for the Rebels. 2 seconds in the 3rd quarter. Hill fires over the middle, and that was what the problem was last week. A drop by Josh Reynolds right in his hand, and it's going to set up a 3rd down as we end the 3rd quarter. Ole Miss making another statement, up by 3 touchdowns with a quarter to play in College Station. Very busy Saturday for the National Championship Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. It was in Dallas for the Red River rivalry. Oklahoma getting past Texas. Then it went over to Waco to watch the Bears come from 21 down to beat TCU. That's here tonight. It's a very eventful day in the Lone Star State.
How about that game?
Hill flush out, dropped the ball, picks it up. A scramble for Ole Miss is running with it. A flag is down. They now signal touchdown. There was no whistle. Keith Lewis picked it up and ran it in. But we'll check the marker.
I don't think the ball was ever recovered until Keith Lewis, who was standing up, reached in there and picked it up. It was a bunch of bodies laying on the ground, and Keith Lewis.
74, the offense. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, touchdown.
A second defensive touchdown for the Land Sharks defense on the Hill fumble. The scoop and score by Lewis.
And there's a bunch of bodies there. You're thinking, oh, the ball's down there in the bottom of that pile. Watch 24 in white here. He just doesn't give up on the play. The ball hits off of his own thigh pad. Now watch this football. It's between some feet, between some legs. All of a sudden, he's still up. He figures out where that ball is. No one else knows where it is.
Good job by the officials not to blow a whistle, which would have killed the play.
Absolutely. That's a touchdown, as you said, the second one for Dave Womack's defense. These guys, you're taking a look tonight at one of the best defenses in college football between what they're doing at Mississippi State and what they're doing at Ole Miss. Those are two of the best defenses in the country.
Maybe two of the best college football teams in the country in the Magnolia State. How could you argue against it right now?
Right now, if you're ranking, you got to put Mississippi State up there at 1, Ole Miss at 2, 1A.
Well, Rebels fans say, wait a minute, why not us 1?
1A, 1B. You might give Mississippi State maybe a little bit of a nod only because they went to Baton Rouge, they beat A&M. And then what they did today to Auburn, which was really impressive.
Seminoles barely holding on to #1 on the AP poll, brought to you by Allstate. It was a 2-point lead over Auburn, which of course lost by 15. So Mississippi State made a very strong statement this afternoon to jump over everybody.
Yeah.
But Ole Miss, they were
right
tied
there
at #3.
Yeah. And they are so sound. Can you imagine? Just dare to imagine Ole Miss and Mississippi State somehow maneuvering through the SEC West and setting up an Egg Bowl at the end with the way those two teams are playing.
Ole Miss hosting the Egg Bowl. We're getting way ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I know.
They're thinking about that in Mississippi right now.
How about Ole Miss has allowed 4 touchdowns this whole year, and they've scored 4 touchdowns.
That's pretty good when you're 0 in the ledger.
That's pretty good.
Hill fires over the middle into coverage, but the catch is made at the 40-yard line. Nice job by Speedy Noyle. Has really been the one receiver having a night.
And it's a really nice job by Kenny Hill getting the ball thrown behind the TCU, or we're talking TCU, behind the Ole Miss secondary. That was Trey Elston, who missed the first half, who didn't get back in coverage.
And you know that Dave Womack and Freeze really want their side to finish this game strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that's one of the first times we've seen Kenny Hill have success throwing downfield vertically. Just a handful tonight. Not a lot of room back in the back end of Ole Miss's defense.
And 2nd and 10, Hill steps up, fires far side, a wide open Edward Pope, and he scoots out of bounds at the 22.
I thought his left knee might have touched, but the official was standing right there, literally right behind him. Had a really good view to see if his left knee touches or actually, it's right there. You see him behind. He's looking at it.
Aggies are trying to play fast. Brandon Williams to the right of the quarterback on 3rd down. Throw far side. Noyle has it again, gets free, steps back and dances out of bounds inside the 25. So they convert on 3rd down.
And you can really see why the coaches love Speedy Noyle, and he has a 43.5 vertical. That's how explosive he is, and 8 receptions tonight. They've moved him around, but
43
right now,
and a half.
Yeah, and a half. We'll take that.
Hill back, steps up, throws to the end zone, leaping catch, touchdown, Josh Reynolds.
Now they can score in a hurry. They're one of the best offenses in the country. In fact, they lead the nation with 21 touchdown drives of 2 minutes or less. And make that 22 now, because that was under 2 minutes, just under 2 minutes, 1:57, 7 plays, 87 yards. And a nice job of, thought he might be getting a little greedy, but Josh Reynolds, his most productive receiver this year, goes up into the air and uses his body to keep that defender away for a touchdown.
His 8th touchdown of the season. He's had touchdowns in back-to-back games. The lead is back to 21, but time running out on Texas A&M. Taylor Bertolette backing up now. Will they dribble it or kick it away? I think he's going to boot it deep. Dylan Walton will just down it in the end zone.
For A&M, they're thinking about trying to strip the ball and trying to come up with a turnover to get the ball back.
This is Mathers. Just a short gain.
Mark Snyder, just when we said he's starting to commit a few more people to the line of scrimmage because they were down at that time by 14. They needed to do something to crank up the intensity. And all of a sudden, in doing that, he left some corners and safeties one-on-one, and they ended up giving up a big one. But they're having to try to put some numbers up to that line of scrimmage just because of the score.
There's Adeboja who made him pay on the touchdown reception from Wallace. They'll use the play clock here on 2nd and 9. Take it down near 8 minutes to play. On the end around. Carried across the 30 near the first down marker is Burdett. Contavious Burdett. Done that a couple times as well. They've really tried to get east and west run wide on A&M's defense tonight. Done it well.
Yeah, they have. They've outflanked them. They've gotten great blocking from the receivers. We haven't called Laquan Treadwell's name a ton tonight. I mean, he's had some chances to make some plays, but just spending some time with him Thursday, he was highly touted. You'd think as a receiver, sometimes guys get caught up in their own stats. He's asked to block along with the rest of these receivers a lot in this system. Just an impressive individual, a guy who is very, very serious about his craft and about being a leader for this team.
This is Wilkins cut down. Where will they spot it? Close to the first down. He's getting a right-footed spot from the official, just short of the 35. They have 4th down on the marker. It's pretty near the yellow line, though.
No hesitation, obviously, from Ole Miss. About a half a football short of the first down.
Here comes the punt team. Speedy Noyle has had one good return brought back because he gave the getaway signal. Another brought back on multiple penalties tonight. Could have been a little bit different had those returns counted. Makes the fair catch this time at the 32. So the deficit is 21. About 6.5 to play. Most of the students are still here, but it's unusual in my experience at Kyle Field to see this many empty seats. I know it's late. Folks have to drive some of them a long way to get home, but it's unusual. Hill chased, sacked back at the 20-yard line.
Dave Womack told us that besides C.J. Johnson and Kim Dichie and Brown, that they can bring in a number of other guys, whether it's Brian Bennett or Marquise Haynes. How about Haynes tonight? He has gotten into that backfield. They can give you 4 or 5 SEC quality pass rushers, and the true freshman Haynes has been in that backfield a lot.
Delayed a handoff to Trey Carson. They call it the cheetah package, like some teams do. You get a bunch of those fast guys off the edge getting at the quarterback, and Haynes, one of the several true freshmen, make an impact on this defense.
When you combine Haynes to go along with the rest of those defenders up front, and then you've got about 6 or 7 defensive backs, you've got about 4 or 5 linebackers, and all the guys in the 2nd and 3rd level are experienced to go along with the speed of what they have up front. It's just a really well put together defense. It's going to be tough for a lot of teams this year to try to move the football on.
On 3rd and 17, Hill steps up, fires over the middle, catch made at the 40-yard line, but short of the first down is Reynolds, or excuse me, Seals Jones.
It's the first time we've called Cody Pruitt's name in a while, and remember, we not only called his name after the pick 6, but looked like he had a stinger and was holding his shoulder earlier in the game. So for you Ole Miss fans, he's been back out there since then.
4th down, 2. Pass far side, catch made. Noyle works free. Speedy Noyle just brought down by the shoelaces. Trey Elston got him in midfield, or he was gone.
Now that gives you an idea of what he can do, and this is what A&M wants. Instead of having to always throw it downfield 40 or 50 yards, just get it out there to a speedster and let him make a guy miss. And Elston was very, very fortunate just to get a shoestring there to pull him down.
Hill rolls, fires over the middle. Catch made as the Rebels have softened up their coverage. Seals Jones again. You look at the stats, and A&M now has a yardage edge, but so many of them yards have been a little bit on the hollow side.
Yeah, that was an outstanding adjustment by Ricky Seals Jones, breaking off of his route and getting into a position where Kenny Hill could find him.
Hill again, first down, takes a shot to the goal line, tipped up and intercepted by Senquez Golson. He's still running around, acting like he's going to bring it out, chewing on some clock, and he'll finally just roll down. The man who clinched the monumental win over Alabama with a late pick comes up with his 5th interception of the season.
And I don't know what Kenny Hill is thinking here at all. And again, he's a freshman, and he's going to learn from these kind of mistakes. But you know, you have a soft corner right here, and Golson, who's just going to kind of backpedal. Watch him as he's looking at the quarterback. He's backpedaling. He's in great position. And even if the receiver doesn't slip and fall down, that's going to be, at the very least, a ball that's knocked away, more than likely intercepted. And Golson, you know, Chris, he's a great example of this defense. He's kind of symbolic of what this defense has become, because guys like Golson and Elston and Pruitt and Hilton and Cedarius Bryant, Denzel Kamdichi, Tony Connor, a lot of these guys that have been around, they've been through not just the great moments, they've been through some tough moments. And I think the peaks and valleys of this Ole Miss secondary, all that they've been through, now being kind of grizzled veterans, it allows them to play with so much more confidence and a togetherness in the way you watch them play every single Saturday so far this year.
Rebels take over here inside of 4 minutes to play. Mark Dodson, short gain. Guys like Pruitt, like Golson, Mississippi natives. There are 54 Mississippians on this Ole Miss roster. We spoke this morning, College Game Day in Starkville, about the impact of players from that state. Not all of them, in fact, most of them weren't touted prospects. Some of them came from small rural high schools, didn't have great facilities. Some of their families struggled to put 3 meals on the table. These guys arrived in college with an opportunity, hungry to improve and get better. Coaching staff has to spot guys like that and believe in them in high school.
No doubt about it. And there's a hunger and a desire from these players that when you put them on the same team together.
This is Dodson on the carry. 3 short years ago, Mississippi veterans were a part of a 2-10 team under Ed Orgeron.
Absolutely.
And the guys who came here, those good recruiting classes, had to buy in, had to believe this kind of thing was possible when there wasn't much evidence that it was likely to happen. I think in many ways, Kirk, as Dodson gets loose, is as strong or a stronger ball grabbed by an Aggie, but I think Dodson had stepped out. Maybe a stronger statement than even the home win last week.
Absolutely. Because last week, people looked at that and thought, boy, they're at home. They played inspired.
See if Dodson does step out. They rip at the ball. His toes are on that white line.
This is validation today. This is last week was, oh my gosh, are the stars aligned right? They're at home. They rallied. Biggest win in school history. A week later, they go on the road at Kyle Field, biggest stadium, biggest crowd they've ever had in the state of Texas, and they take the game over. They're up 14-0 in the blink of an eye in the first quarter. So to me, this today validates that Ole Miss is for real in the same way that earlier in Starkville, what Mississippi State did against Auburn really validates who they are.
On 4th down, they bring in Gary Wunderlich to punt it. They're not going to go to the rugby punt of Gleason. They want to hang it up high. They do, and Noyle makes a fair catch back at the 22. Having said that, it's dangerous, it's fickle, you got to bring it every week. But this was the euphoric scene we're talking about. This is the land grab last Friday morning. By Saturday morning, the Grove was insane. Katy Perry was even more insane coming on College Game Day. She stayed for the game. She watched them rally from 2 touchdowns behind, and then Golson makes the pick to seal it, and then pandemonium. The students eventually got the goalpost to the ground. They paraded them all over the place. They took them to the Grove, took them to the square. I mean, some of those folks are here following the team.
Again, that's what's so impressive, is to go through what you just saw. Goalposts are down. They've cut them up. They're in the bars. They're in the fraternity houses.
They sold the pieces of them.
They're everywhere. Hugh Freeze said, they brought me a piece. You know, this is great. And then a week later to do this, 35-14 on the road at Kyle Field.
2nd and 9 throw on the far side. Heather, more on the great scene in Oxford.
Well, Chris,
this weekend.
It's amazing. You're not going to believe this. Hugh Freeze told me before the game that he called it. He literally in the locker room before the Bama game last week told his team, these goalposts are coming down after this game. No matter what, I promise you, we're getting the win. Now they think he can tell the future.
Well, they'll go back home, and they'll be big favorites against Tennessee. And he knows they'll have to handle even more prosperity now. They potentially a #1 ranking, or perhaps just behind Mississippi State or Florida State when the polls come out.
Yeah, they're going to be right up there. And I think there's one other thing that I think needs to be said about Hugh Freeze and what he's doing here.
Trey Williams brought down in Rebel territory at the 46.
He brought up to you and I earlier this week the respect that he has for Nick Saban, not just his team and the winning, but the way they go about kind of their business, and they don't talk trash, and they kind of keep things kind of even keeled. He is pressing and pushing every button he can to try to get his team to realize, hey, this is uncharted waters for us, but let's not go up and down emotionally, up and down. Let's just play every week like we expect to win. And that's what they did last week. And again, that's what we've seen today. We haven't seen a lot of trash talking, a lot of just carrying on. They're just executing, and they get back out on the field and they play the next play. That if I'm an Ole Miss fan at home watching, I'm as proud of that as I am the 35-14. It's the way they're just going about this success that really blows me away.
Saw Bo Wallace, a 2nd consecutive turnover-free game for the quarterback. Ran for 2 touchdowns, threw for 1. Hill, if you look at the stats, having a really productive night. That's his 41st completion, 375 yards. But again, most of the yards coming after Freeze's bunch had a big lead. Aggies in the red zone with 20 seconds to play. Hill rolling and knocked out at about the 13 with 8 seconds left. Where do the Aggies go from here besides to Alabama? They're going to drop to the 2-2 in the league, very much in the back burner in the division race.
Well, I mean, I think Kenny Hill's going to have a great career ahead of him. But everybody wants to point to the quarterback. This is going to be one of those games. If I'm the coach, I'm pointing to that offensive line and the running game and the lack thereof. They've got to be able to run the football better if they want to compete with Alabama and others.
Hill scrambles around, fires into the end zone, and with triple zeros on the clock, a touchdown catch made by Sabian Holmes. Very, very small consolation for the Aggies as Hill fires a touchdown pass with no time left, and they'll kick the point, but basically academic, as the Rebels will walk out of here with a very satisfying 2-touchdown victory. And that's it. They won't even kick the extra point. A 15-point margin for Freeze. They follow up the landmark home win over Alabama with a very convincing road win. Bulldogs or Rebels? Which one deserving of the #1 ranking? Pollsters will have to think about that. Wallace ran for 2, threw for 1. The defense with 2 scores as Ole Miss wins in Kyle Field. Sports Center coming up next for Kirk and Heather. I'm Chris Fowler. Thanks for joining us. So long.